If you thought 2020 was a tough year, and you can't wait for it to be over, well, we're sorry to tell you that 2021 doesn't look any more promising. In fact, the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize has been warning global leaders that the world is about to experience a famine of biblical proportions. Wealthy countries experienced several hardships, often seeing years of economic and social progress being wiped out in the time span of a few weeks. This is what David Beasley, the head of the UN World Food Programme and winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, has been alerting to global leaders to warn how next year is likely to be worse than this year. And without billions of dollars in aid, Beasley says, we are going to have famines of biblical proportions in 2021.
Mr. Green, this is science again. Famines are just natural disasters. They happen sometimes.
Yeah, me from the past. No. For the most part, famines have historically been man-made disasters.
Food is a commodity to be traded in order to make a profit. The more food we produce and sell, the more money there is to be made. So under the guise of tackling food security to provide for all, we have developed intensive farming methods to produce ever greater quantities at ever lower prices. This race to the bottom in food prices has come at tremendous cost, both in terms of food quality and environmental damage. 1.3 billion tons, or $1 trillion of food are wasted every year, and just 1/4 of the food wasted by the EU, UK, and US could feed all the world's hungry. There are many other statistics like this, but all of them point to one simple fact. There is more than enough food for everyone, but our food system guarantees that some will go hungry. We do not currently have a problem of supply and demand, we have a problem of production and distribution. Food insecurity is not a natural result of population growth, but a man-made crisis caused by a failing, inhumane system.
Of South Sudan's many torments, hunger has become the greatest terror of all. It is a horror written in the flesh and bones of this little boy.
This boy's too weak to stand, yeah? He can't stand up.
It has drawn the strength from his limbs and the life from his eyes. His name is Hamis. 2 years old, but weaker than a newborn baby.
There's nothing to him, huh?
His mother has lost one child to sickness, lost family to war. So with every exhausted step, South Sudan moves from the brink of genocide into the arms of famine. For many days and many miles they've trekked across a sun-blown wasteland in search of something to eat and somewhere safe to stay.
For 3 war-weary years, these people have been forced to abandon homes and harvests by fighting which has cost tens of thousands of lives. Now they're escaping an even deadlier foe. The famine here is a crisis of humanity which is entirely man-made.
No one country is the same, no one conflict is the same, but what we are seeing are some very dangerous patterns. The use of food, or the lack thereof, as a weapon.
Fighting groups in each country have created food shortages to starve each other. South Sudan became an independent country in 2011, but fell into civil war just 2 years later. It started as a personal rivalry between President Salva Kiir and former Vice President Riek Machar. But with each leader belonging to a different ethnic group, it soon became a tribal conflict.
What we're seeing now is this war almost cannibalizing, where it's disintegrating into smaller and smaller groups across the country. What we saw when we got there was clear evidence of ethnic cleansing.
Kind of like what will happen when they stick and open up this facility at the beef belt, right? Is that it? Is that what's happening? Let's check what CNN has to say most recently about hell in Yemen. Man-made famine set to overrun Yemen. You mean weaponizing food, right? This is from March 1st.
Region here in the Middle East, captured in roiling conflict and endemic corruption, where doing the right thing, or what may seem as such, can all too quickly lead to the wrong outcome. A special kind of hell, that tragic assessment direct from the UN Secretary General describing what it is like to be a child in Yemen. In fact, the United Nations says for just about anyone living in Yemen now, life is unbearable. A newly released report says years of brutal conflict have left 2/3 of the country's population in desperate need of help. One official warning Yemen could slide into a famine unlike any the world has seen for decades. So today, the United Nations is launching a global effort to raise almost $4 billion for Yemen. It is holding a virtual donor conference, the second.
Why do we have to raise money for food when it's a man-made famine? Why are we raising money? Who needs this money? Man-made famines, okay? Man-made famines. Let's go back to how this island is dangerous and how Homeland Security said, yeah, we want to keep it on an island because, you know, we don't need, this is a chief investigative special report. This was a really good report.
Is the question we're trying to address. I mean, we do our analysis based on, you know, what the proximity to livestock. And I would say that zoonotic diseases, which we do at a biosafety level 4, are the diseases that go from animal to human. They don't go from human to human, just animal to human. So we try to, you know, build in those protective barriers. Now, there is precedent for putting biosafety level 4 in urban areas such as downtown Atlanta, where they work on very, severe human pathogens in Atlanta and Winnipeg and other Fort Detrick and other places. So there is precedent for putting it in an urban area.
Did you hear that? Did you guys know that Atlanta had a very high-risk laboratory? I just wanted to point that out. Just wanted to point it out.
Now, the environmental impact statement also says no matter where you put it, no matter what you do, accidents will happen. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, we evaluate for the probability of accidents, and no facility is foolproof. I mean, we carry some degree of risk. The EIS concludes, and we believe in it, it's right, that the probability of accident is extremely low at this facility, no matter where it's sited. The consequences would be different for some plumb line versus the mainland because we have a little more protection, but very, very low probability of accidents.
Yeah, I mean, before the Chernobyl nuclear plant accident, the Soviets said there's a very low probability, maybe every 10,000 years we'd have a serious accident.
Right.
So you can get a wonder when somebody says extremely low.
They're pushing on the cow farts. They want to get rid of your cows. The fastest way they annihilate them is, look at that. They got sick. No, you just stuck a BS4 facility in the beef belt. That's why they got all sick. The whole laboratory went crazy, and then we had mad cow's disease, and it's like, what? So everybody needs to get on it. Everybody needs to get on it. Why are we putting a level 4 bio research lab in the middle of our beef belt? It's like we're asking to get starved out. We're asking for it. And this is where we say no. And this is where all of you should be reaching out to everyone saying, no, no, no. You got it? This is where you use. Wuhan lab devastated the world. This can devastate our actual sustenance. I don't care how good it is. Oklahoma, Nebraska, Kansas, North Dakota, South, like you guys, you share the same beef. Every single American needs to send a letter and says no. Based on what happened in Wuhan, which is a level 4, we cannot risk this in the beef. I don't get it. How, secure you say it is, we cannot risk getting into famine. Do you understand, fellow Americans? This is what you have to do. Do you want a man-made famine? Do you want to say, oops, don't worry, we have this incredible burger? Nope, nope, nope. Out you go. But we invested. Don't give it out you go. It is our money. We don't need any risk. We've got tornadoes going through there, floods going through there. We've got whatever can happen. Anything can happen. And suddenly we're hungry. There's no food. We're begging for food. This is how you do it. You see?